Welcome in to the Sactown Sports Kings recap show. My name is Chris Watkins. My fault for the late stream. I was doing the Sacramento Kings postgame show, so I had to wrap that up before I could hop on here. But I did find time immediately after. Let's see here. Let's start this thing off. Unfortunately, I wish this could be under better circumstances, but the Kings frankly got blown out tonight by the Philadelphia 76ers, 123 to 103. The Kings really were down for a lot of this game. It really changed, turned on its head in the second quarter when James Harden went absolutely ballistic after a relatively quiet first quarter. He didn't have a single field goal attempt in the first quarter. Didn't take his first field goal attempt until about, let's see here, I have in my notes, till the 9:29 mark in the second quarter. James Harden did not have a field goal attempt. And then from that point on, made his first bucket at the 9:24 mark, hit a three, hit another three, and then found PJ Tucker in the corner for a three. And that was at the 6:57 mark. So that was like a 3-minute span where James Harden took over the game and made it a 15-point lead. And then from that point, the Kings were pretty much playing catch up. And it was the Sixers game. The entire game, I thought, was played at the Sixers pace, the pace that the Sixers wanted. You saw from the jump, Joel Embiid was drawing fouls on all of the Kings' big men. Keegan Murray had 2 early fouls. Domantas Sabonis had 2 early fouls. And we saw Neemias Queta even come in and draw 3 incredibly fast fouls. I have here written in my notes, Neemias Queta checks in at the 7:36 mark, picks up a first foul at 6:58, picks up the second foul at 5:39. So 2 minutes, and he picked up 2 fouls. And then at the 5:19 mark, he picked up his third foul. So he played 2 minutes and had 3 fouls. Not the ideal start to Neemias Queta. That was his first action of the season. So he's played really well so far this year in Stockton with the G League team. He's averaged 19 points a game, 7 rebounds as well in Stockton. So I was excited to see him in there tonight. I thought it made sense. Joel Embiid is a huge body. We saw what ended up playing out. The Kings don't have any answer size-wise for Joel. And I think, it makes sense to, if Neemias is ever going to be a player in this league, Joel Embiid is the exact type of player that they want him to stop. And the only way he's going to get those experience, get those reps, it's not going to be in the G League. There's no Joel Embiid hanging out in the G League, okay? So, it was good for Neemias to get that experience, even if it was 2 minutes and he didn't play well in those 2 minutes, picking up 3 fouls. The experience he just gained is invaluable. I'm sure he's going to remember every second of those 2 minutes and use that and try and learn from it. So to me, it makes sense for him to play Queta. Queta didn't play well enough to deserve more minutes. So good on Mike Brown for recognizing that and only playing him that 2-minute stint. But, Chimezie Metu was the team's other option at the backup center. He wasn't the answer either. Joel was tearing him up. No real reason to hope that Mezzi was going to stop him. Size-wise, it just didn't really make sense, and that really played out. I mean, Joel finished with 13 free throw attempts. He had 9 in the first quarter. He was just a monster all night. Joel Embiid finishes up with 31 points, leads the game in points, and thank you, Kyle. I just noticed my man Kyle, who's in the board op studio, just did this nice little ticker for me because I didn't have time. Thank you, Kyle. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything anybody we got a couple people in here. Put in the comments if there's anything that stuck out to you tonight, anything you want to talk about from tonight's game. I'm here. I'm ready to talk. It was a big struggle. You would have hoped to see De'Aaron Fox in his return to play. He missed 2 games with a right foot soreness. He struggled today. He did not have it. 5 of 15 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3-point land. Finished off with 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. Yeah, I mean, I talked about in the pregame, you knew De'Aaron wasn't going to come out and drop 30 tonight. You had to expect. We saw him struggle before he went out with the injury. He was really struggling to find his game. He missed the 2 games. He wasn't going to come back, be 100%, and be a 30-point a game scorer coming off that injury. We knew he was going to struggle, so you were hoping to see more of a collective effort from the entire roster, everybody getting points. And for the most part, I think there was some decent contributors. Harrison Barnes had 11 points. I mentioned De'Aaron's 13. Terrence Davis had a good game off the bench. Malik Monk had 16 points off the bench. So there were some people who did contribute a little bit, but it really didn't matter to me after that Sixers run in the second quarter. It felt like the Kings were playing catch up, and they could just never really get a good hold on things. They made things it was as close to a 15-point game with 2 minutes to go in that third quarter. And after that, the Sixers brought it back up to 21 a minute later, and that was really the game. I mean, if the Kings could have maybe cut it to 10 to go into the fourth quarter, they had a shot. But it was just not the Kings' night. They couldn't hit anything. Finished the night shooting 23% from three. Absolutely terrible. This is back-to-back games now where they haven't been able to knock it down from three. Against the Knicks on Sunday, they were 10 of 39 from three-point land, 25%. Tonight, 10 of 42, 23% from three. So that's something they have to figure out. The defense was not there tonight. We've been talking about their defense a lot for the past couple weeks as they've improved, become a mid-level defense in the league right now. Tonight was not the case, allowing 70 points in that first quarter, or in that first half, excuse me. That's not good defense. Very reminiscent of when they played Golden State, and Golden State dropped 90 in the first half. Very reminiscent to that. Except the Kings didn't have the same offense that they had that night. Kings couldn't hit anything, shoot 41% from the field, 23% from three, as I mentioned. The Sixers, on the other hand, could not miss, y'all. They could not miss. They shot 51% from the field, 45% from three. I came away from today being incredibly impressed with the Sixers. In the pregame, I was talking about the Sixers, just the grand scheme of things for them. What is their goal for this season? Are they a legitimate finals contender? I didn't think so. I felt like they fell just kind of in that second tier in the Eastern Conference, below Boston and Milwaukee, and it felt like they're in the same tier as Cleveland, maybe as Miami as well. But I think they impressed me a lot tonight. And this was without Tyrese Maxey, who's a huge contributor for them, without De'Anthony Melton, who's also a big contributor to them and to their defense, which Sixers have the fourth highest defensive rating coming into tonight. They completely shut down the Kings, only allowing 103 points. For them to do that without De'Anthony Melton is incredibly impressive. Matisse Thybulle was the one who stepped up for De'Anthony Melton. He finished off 22 minutes, 15 points. Matisse Thybulle scored 15 points. That just should not happen. Matisse was 3 of 4 from three, so his shot was falling tonight. And Matisse is one of the best defenders in this league. I believe last season he finished in first team all defense. He's not somebody who's a big name. He's just a really gritty defender, and he's not supposed to give you 15 points. So on a night where he can give you 15 points, Matisse Thybulle is having a good night. James Harden, incredibly efficient, 7 of 13 from the field, finished 21 points. I mentioned he really opened the game up in that second quarter for Philadelphia. He had a spectacular second quarter, capped off with just a fantastic stat line, 21 points, 15 assists tonight for James Harden, 5 steals, 7 rebounds for him. Was just incredible tonight. G-Man was on the call, of course, for the radio call. Mentioned every single time James Harden shoots the ball, he falls to the floor, and it is so annoying. I have no idea how referees deal with him, because he's just constantly looking for foul calls, and it must just be absolutely infuriating to try and officiate him. Just disgusting stuff. But I mean, the man is a bucket. He's a walking bucket. You cannot deny that. He's one of the best, distributors in this league. Tonight he showed me really he really displayed his versatility. The fact that he's in a different phase of his career. He is no longer the 35 point, 10 assists, 10 rebound James Harden that we saw in Houston. He's a lot more leaning into that playmaker role, and he's excelling. I mean, he's able to really just flip the switch, and we saw him be an explosive scorer in that second quarter, but for the rest of the time, he finds his pockets to go off offensively, but he's really just moving the ball and finding guys open for wide open shots, because he and Joel Embiid have such gravity that they pull people into the paint and leave their shooters open, which leads us to Tobias Harris, who surprises me to see he was 2 of 7 from 3. It felt like Tobias had a lot of big shots today. He finishes off with 21 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds for Toby. Really surprising that he played that well. Tobias, I feel like traditionally has played well against the Kings. His length has been a real problem. He's really smooth for somebody who's 6'10" like he is. He can shoot really well. Tobias absolutely killed us tonight. I should mention, this is not the Sixers recap show, so I should probably talk about the Kings, right? Domantas Sabonis, incredible game tonight, just does what he does. Unfortunately, defensively, he's never going to have an answer for Joel Embiid. That's just never going to work for him. Joel's going to eat his lunch 9 out of 10 times, or maybe 10 out of 10 times. But Domantas was nonetheless able to get his offense going. 22 points, 5 assists, 10 rebounds for Domas. Really good stuff from him. 8 of 10 from the field. Just incredibly efficient at the rim. But he was really the only one who shot really well. Terrence Davis was 5 of 8 from the field, 12 points off the bench. That's good to see. Malik Monk, 16 points, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Malik continues to put up big numbers off the bench. It's good to see, even when the Kings play poorly, Malik's still able to get his numbers. It's not good for that the Kings play poorly, but it's good for the 6th man of the year candidate to see that he's campaign that he's trying to run right now. So good for Malik to score 16 in a loss nonetheless. But besides that, I mentioned De'Aaron Fox's struggle, 5-15 from the field. Trey Lyles came in today. He couldn't get it going. Chimezie Metu couldn't get it going, 2 of 6 from the field. And, good to see. Should mention Rashawn Holmes came in late. Rashawn has been probably the center of the most controversy so far this season for the Kings. Just his poor play to start the season, his awkward fit in the rotation, and then him eventually being pulled from the rotation and now only getting garbage time minutes. Rashawn finishes with 7 points, 3 rebounds in just 6 minutes, 3 of 4 from the field. He still got it. He's showing, even if it might not be for this Sacramento Kings team, he's still got game, and he believes that he's a player in this league. Sorry, as I'm going to lift this up, I noticed that I'm kind of awkwardly at an awkward height right now. So this is much better. Good game for Rashawn Holmes in limited minutes in garbage time. Maybe next time they go against a big presence, maybe Mike Brown doesn't go the Neemias Queta route. Maybe he goes to Rashawn Holmes, who put together a nice game tonight. But I support the decision tonight to go to Neemias Queta. Like I said, I just think that's good. The good experience for him. It was a good. The mindset was there for sure. I understand putting in the big body of Nemi, but just absolutely nobody could stop Joel Embiid. We are going to go to comments. Is there anybody in the comments? I don't see any. Any thoughts on tonight's game? Again, 123-103. Kings lose to the Philadelphia 76ers on the road. Kings are now 6-8 on the road. Road wins are very big. It's a good sign of being a good team. If you can travel and still pick up wins, that's good. Kings are still 2 games above 500. That's incredibly important as they go through this tough road trip right now. They're only 4 games into the 6-game trip. They are 1-3 so far. Have another tough test tomorrow in Toronto. Shout out my guy King's Pulse Brendan wearing Frankie's hat. I'm not wearing Frankie's hat. This is my hat. I just I'm supporting my buddy. He got Aaron Judge signed, so I just figured I'd support him with the Yankee fit. Yeah, it made me lose my train of thought, but not a great game, just not the game that you were hoping to see after the Kings struggled on Sunday in New York against the Knicks. This is not quite how you wanted to see them. Not quite how you wanted to see them come out and play in Philadelphia. Have a tough one tomorrow in Toronto. That one's not going to be easy, that's for sure. Toronto's got crazy length, crazy size, and just skill guys. It's going to be tough for them to match up. They're going to run out Fred VanVleet and Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, and that's a bunch of 6'9", agile, athletic wings. And the Kings really don't have a lot of that. It's Harrison Barnes, it's KZ Okpala, it's Keegan Murray, and that's about it. They don't really have a lot of guys who match up with the size and physicality that Toronto is going to present. So me personally, I kind of expect it to be another tough one tomorrow. I mean, Mike Brown didn't give his starters too much rest. I put that they waved the white flag with about 6 minutes to go in tonight's game. So it's not like the starters are super well rested. They didn't take off an entire quarter. Domantas Sabonis plays 30 minutes. De'Aaron Fox plays 29 minutes in his return. Harrison Barnes 31. So I wouldn't say that the Kings are well rested after playing tonight. And this game it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 right now Eastern time. So they still have to fly to Toronto. I'm no flight wizard. I don't know how far of a flight it is to Toronto. I assume it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that puts them at about midnight that they're landing. Got to still go to the hotel, check in, get comfortable, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, and then you have a game at 4:30 at the arena. So you got to imagine they have shoot around at around 11 o'clock. It's going to be a tough turnaround. This is the struggle of being an NBA player, and for a guy like Keegan Murray who struggled tonight to find his shot, 1 of 5 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. After having a good game, good string of games for the Kings here, finally finding his rhythm again. It's going to be tough for Keegan tomorrow as well. I mentioned all the length and size that Toronto has. They're definitely going to use it against him, and he's going to have to come out and be ready for another tough one tomorrow. But it's this is the struggles of being in the NBA. I promise at some point the Kings schedule does open up. I will look ahead to that because I feel like we're finally close enough to talk about it. Let's see here. So they conclude the road trip. They play tomorrow in Toronto and then conclude on Friday at Detroit. Then things open up a little bit here. They play Charlotte, the Lakers, and the Wizards at home, then a back-to-back against the Nuggets, and then a game against Utah, Memphis. But in early January, people, if we can just wait for early to mid-January, there's a stretch of games here where the Kings can really do some damage. Starting on Saturday, January 7th. Now that's less than a month from now. So I feel like I said, I feel like it's okay to talk about this now. Looking ahead, it's about 10 games in between here and there. They play the Lakers on January 7th, Orlando on January 9th, back-to-back games against Houston, not back-to-back nights, on January 11th and 13th, at San Antonio, at the Lakers, and then versus Oklahoma City. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games with, what is that? 2 of them. So 5 home games and 2 road games in that trip against incredibly weak opponents in about a month or so. So if the Kings, again, can just hold their heads above 500 these next 10 games, they're 2 games above 500 right now. If they can hold above 500 and then go into that 7-game stretch against easy opponents, oh boy, that's when we can really start getting excited for some Kings basketball and a lot of the talk for the Kings. But unfortunately, right now they're going against one of the toughest stretches that you're going to find. They are playing 7 straight games against top 11 defenses in the NBA right now. So it's going to be tough for the Kings to find any salvation coming up in these next couple of games because the defenses do not get any better. I think we're going to wrap it up here. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty exhausted. I've been talking about the Kings for the past 4 hours. So I think I'm pretty much done. Appreciate everybody hopping on. Again, apologies for hopping on late here as I had to finish responsibilities on the Kings post-game show. But thank you all for joining. My name is Chris Watkins. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Sactown Sports YouTube channel, Sactown Sports 1140, your local leader.